Hey there, so we are now approaching Karatina. We're still on our way to Nanyuki, and I have a question, and my question is to Solomon Wangwe. If I only have 50,000 shillings accessible to me at the moment, where can I buy land? I want to buy land. I want to at least begin, investing in this resource that is scarce and will continue to be scarce. But I don't have, millions. I just have 50,000 shillings. Where can I buy land?
That's a great question, because I think a lot of people disqualify themselves because they think they have too little.
Yeah.
And I think the first thing would be to be clear, as I've said before, your goal for investing. Like, what's the purpose for buying a piece of land? I think that would be the first thing, because it'll inform everything else. Once you've identified that, then you'd have to scout for land in various places.
Hang on. So just to go back to the goals, can you give examples? Would that be like goals in terms of I want to live there, or I want to buy to sell within the next 2 years?
Yeah, so you need to be very clear. Is this for capital gains?
Okay.
Am I just looking to grow my 50K into something more, a bit more aggressively than other investment classes or vehicles have to offer?
Okay.
That's how we started Goshen Acquisitions. We just wanted to grow our 150K, right? So we were very, very clear that it didn't really matter whether or not the place was habitable now, because we're not looking to live or build there now.
Okay.
So,
or that it's far away.
Right. So that opens you up to more locations. Right.
Yeah. Makes sense.
If it's for farming, there are certain areas, depending on what you want to farm, that you will be restricted to, whether it's altitude, soil types, access to water, and so on. So, being clear about your goal will inform the rest of the journey, which is why you need to sit down and be honest with yourself about why. The why is important. And then once you figure that out, you just have to either spend time in the land scouting process. You drive to different places, ask around, get a feel for the price ranges. I mean, there are places where today you cannot buy an acre for less than 20 million shillings for the exact same purpose as you could, utilize a piece of land elsewhere for less than 1 million shillings.
Yeah.
Right? So you wouldn't know that until you either ask around, ask the professionals. As much as possible, I like to avoid dealing with brokers. And when I say brokers here, I'm referring to informal brokers, not licensed brokers. Licensed brokers are, regulated by policy. They have indemnity covers. There's a professional way they go about it.
Do we have licensed brokers?
Yeah, agencies and brokers. The common ones are such as Lloyd Masika.
Okay, I hear you.
Knight Frank and any of those.
Yeah.
Those are fine. As much as they're a turn off for me, because you don't really know, whether or not the information that's being shared with you is factual or not. That introduces a whole range of issues you need to be aware of. But ask around. Could be friends and family. Could spend time driving around. Identify the places that meet your budget.
Okay.
And in the event that nothing meets your budget, whether or not it's too expensive.
Okay.
Like we started, in Konza, the cheapest we could find was worth twice as much per acre as we had total in savings, right? So in that situation, I highly recommend that one considers partnering with like-minded individuals.
Okay.
That's what chamas do.
Yeah.
Investment groups, cooperatives, SACCOs. Link up with others who have the same goal with you. Pull your resources together, and that way you can secure something that might be out of reach for you individually now. Because in the end, it really won't matter. And a good example I can share, this is a personal one. Some friends of mine, two friends, professionals, working professionals about my age, wanted to buy a piece of land in Rongai that became available. It was recommended to us by another mutual friend who had already bought land there. So that gave us some sense of safety or reference point. that, you know, if this guy bought there, then it must be worth looking into, because they're not an idiot. You know, they don't do funny business, right? So we looked into it. He introduced us to the owner. The gentleman wanted 3.35 million shillings for that acre. At the time, I only had, I think, 850,000 shillings. So I couldn't afford to buy the whole acre. So the three of us got together. You know, one of us paid for half of it, and the other two of us paid for a quarter of the acre. All our names went on the title deed for the 1 acre parcel. Because in that area, as with most parts of the country, especially in Kajiado, you're not supposed to go lower than an acre if it's freehold.
Right. So you can't be subdivided below an acre.
Yes. I mean, to go below an acre, you have to do change of user processes, which can be costly, time consuming. And so we were very keen to follow due process for the safety of our investment. So we all put in what we could. We acquired the acre. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. Today, you know, I was shocked. I called someone from the area to ask about what the land is worth now, because we were thinking of selling it off to do something else with the money, and we were told that we could sell it for anywhere from 9 to 12 million shillings. What? Right? In 4 to 5 years.
Oh, 4 to 5. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty decent rate of return from 3.35 million. And we haven't done anything to the piece of land. It's in a residential area. Lots of development has happened in that period of time. And now we're sitting on something that's worth 4 times, potentially 4 times what we paid for it. So, you know, at this point, does it really matter to me that I only own a quarter of that? No, because my quarter is worth more than 3 times what I put in. Right? So that's what I would really encourage people to consider doing if where you want to invest is more expensive than you have resources for.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So I guess the idea is, you know, don't be discouraged that you don't have very much. There's options that you can actually, you know, tap into, so that then you invest and you don't miss out on the opportunity. This is All Access, and I am with Solomon Wangwe from Goshen Acquisitions. We have a couple of more videos coming, so if you haven't subscribed, subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of them. Take care.